Well, good evening. It's nice enough to take my hood and helmet off. So it's really a beautiful evening. Calm, cool, and collected. That's how I feel. You know why? Because the good Lord is at the controls. As someone told me, if God is your co-pilot, you better change seats. Well, it's a great time to be out here. I haven't put on as many kilometers as I would have liked to this year, but as I stopped at a fella by the name of John Harder just a few minutes ago, when I told him that, he says, well, you just keep going. There's a few more good days. You might just reach 500. Well, I don't think so. I'm at 313, but you know what? That's probably more than many people, but that doesn't matter either. It's what it does for me that matters most. And yes, I had a chance to visit with Brunel Sabourin and Terra Agronomy at St. Jean, Manitoba. Brunel is always ready. I text him. I says, Brunel, often people that I want to interview, I set a day, the time and date the following day or whatever it works. With Brunel, I says, when does it suit? Does it work right away? He says, I'm driving home from Woodmore to St. Jean. He says, give me 45 minutes. And sure enough, I called him at 20 to 3. And he talked about a lot of pretty interesting things. You know that area that was flooded in between, along the Red River and even a little bit west, and of course east of the Red River, several miles, a number of miles, maybe 10, 15 miles, who knows. Earlier this spring, well, that crop has done reasonably well. And that crop is mostly in the bin, except for corn. And even though there weren't a lot of corn acres because of the lateness, he said he had not heard anybody doing below 150 bushels an acre. And I'm not sure what the exact price is, but I know someone who talked about Minnedosa, $10 trucked in a bushel. Well, that's, you don't need to do the math very long, and it shows to be a pretty good crop. Last year, a lot of those acres had no crop. So you can divide that by 2 for many of the people. And, there are concerns. He says, there's commodity prices that are record high. Well, he says, where are they going to be? Where do you sell? And what if you don't have a crop next year to sell? And then input costs. Fertilizer prices are record high. And those aren't going to come down relative to commodity prices. And he said last year, farmers had an open fall because it was dry. And so they put in fertilizer. This year, the soil is absolutely almost perfect for tillage and applying fertilizer. But Brunel says some of the guys are a little leery because the fertilizer they put on late last year got washed away. And so those are the challenges that farmers face. And canola, while not below average to a large extent, a little bit maybe, not above average either in a lot of those areas. Anywhere from 30, 35, and 40 bushels an acre. Verticillium stripe, a culprit this year. A soil-borne disease that only really showed up once the canola was almost mature. So it affected yields by 5-10 bushels an acre. I've also seen videos of farmers and pictures of where the canola was lodged because of heavy rains and wind. And that's where, in some cases, the verticillium stripe set in. And it made it really difficult to cut and harvest those canola fields, let alone as far as the yield being down somewhat. So he says that's something to be reckoned with for the coming years. And the first thing farmers need to do is to make sure there's more rotation time between canola crops. I know we used to talk about every third year, maybe even 4 years, but nowadays some farmers are going 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and maybe that's a bit of an issue. Whoop, my battery showed low a little bit. There's other diseases as well, and so those are the kinds of things that Bernal Sabran and Terra Agronomy, St. Jean, with his good wife Jeanette, run this agronomy company for farmers. He's such a real top-notch wealth, of information. And it's also a beautiful evening. I think about a lot of Bible verses. They don't all come to my mind, but the one that's always at the tip of my tongue, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. And then John said in John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Well, it's, as I said, it's a great time here, and hopefully all of it recorded, even though my battery was a little bit low. So have yourself a great and godly evening. Somewhere, sometime, somehow, I will see you again. God bless.